Guys, it is an absolute pleasure to have you once again at a School of Sharks live Q&A. My name is Dan Diaz. I am your host. I am absolutely excited to be here with you guys, and what a guest and what a show we've got scheduled for everyone. As a quick reminder, we are using a service called StreamYard. So we'd love to hear from you, but before you comment, make sure you go to the post and give StreamYard permission to share your information. That way, we'll know exactly who you are. And as always, we'd love to hear about you. Where are you? Where is your market? And if you're an active investor, what is your primary area of expertise? So, by way of a reminder for those of you who are new to the show, School of Sharks is a community that has really grown on the base of the following philosophy. Alone, I can go fast. Together, we can go far, but united, we can go farther, faster. And that's really the point. When it comes to real estate investing, no one knows it all, nor does any one investor hold the monopoly on solutions and answers. While many already share in various degrees, this platform is a way to share as a collective genius. And if you guys have questions about your real estate investing career, this is where you want to post them in the group and really take advantage of the collective genius. It is our goal to impact 100,000 lives in 1,000 days. And guys, we cannot do it without you. So that is the goal of School of Sharks and the community that we've put together. And we're super, super grateful that you're a part of it. We do have a few people already started chiming in. Bhaskar, good to have you. Alma Flores, Sohail, awesome people. Good to have you guys on board. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the guest that we've invited for today. Some of you may know him. Some of you may be working with him. And some of you may want to get to know a little bit more about him. So Caleb Luketic, he is an in-house lead generation expert. He and his team specialize in online lead generation for investors, wholesalers, and rehabbers alike. This includes search engine optimization, SEO, Google ads, PPC, and Facebook ads. Caleb got his start in marketing as an investor, but he quickly fell in love with the marketing and the psychology that comes with it, which led him to start a marketing agency in 2017 that has grown to over 100 full-time team members. Some of the areas of expertise are online lead generation, marketing, more specifically SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, website design, organizational administration, CRMs, and of course, making sure that his employees and team members are taken care of. Guys, without further ado, let's bring to the stage Mr. Caleb Luketic.
What's up, Dan?
Caleb,
how are you, man? Good, man. I do appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited. Like a lot of you guys know, I've been trying to post in the group, but I'm banned right now. Facebook jail. Woohoo! So that's fun. All because I commented something that is ridiculous, and I was like, "What? Yeah." Anyway, I commented, "I'll shoot you straight" in giving somebody advice, and I got banned for inciting violence. So you guys will see some more of me, but apparently Facebook thinks I'm inciting violence by giving people advice. So
no, that's horrible. Incidentally, I'm curious, have you learned a little bit from this experience in regards to the algorithm, or perhaps the way Facebook kind of thinks that could prevent someone from going what you went through?
Don't use the word shoot in anything. Don't
shoot.
Eliminate. Oh, shoot! Just like spell it out. Like I don't just ignore that word completely, because yeah, it's just not going to be good. So I guess just think of any words, right? That a bomb, shoot, gun, anything that could potentially incite some violence. Just don't, even if it's not meant that way, just ignore it. It's actually funny because not funny, but I actually can't run Facebook ads right now at all. I'm banned, completely banned.
Wow.
So, I mean, luckily, people on staff, like, they can still go access client accounts and all of those things. But Caleb cannot log in, cannot check stats. cannot run ads, cannot do anything. So if I was a one-man band, I mean, like literally clients who are running some Facebook ads for it right now, after they saw that, they're like, are my ads still good? Like, no, like you're good. Like we're still good. Just Caleb's account. I cannot access them. I cannot look at them. I cannot.
And I think that really provides a word of caution, you know, but you got to let people know that if you're just doing one thing when it comes to marketing, it's like having a job. You know, your source of income, your source of leads is only one place. You need to diversify, and really, that's one of the things we want to touch on today. How various diversification when it comes to lead generation is paramount. You know, so that's one of the reasons why we brought you on board. So you can kind of say, hey, listen, if you're only doing, you know, one thing, whether it's Facebook ads right now that's gotten a lot of heat, or really any other one thing, you may be in for a surprise. You may be in for a surprise.
Very possibly. Very possibly.
Good deal. Well, anyways, guys, I'm super excited that you guys are here. Big favor, before we start diving into the questions and answers for Mr. Caleb, if you guys like what you're hearing, do me a favor, like and share this feed on your personal walls and your real estate related groups. You'll be my friend forever. Love you forever. So there's a comment from a Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but we'll go ahead and read it. Create 2 accounts. Make both have access and never post from another account. Use it to save yourself if issues like that arise.
Yep. And that's great. We actually do that. And like, I mean, again, that's the beauty about having the team that we have, is that there's always a backup to the backup. Even if we're at like plan X, Y, or Z, we'll go through AA, BB, like we got all that stuff ready. So again, it's a good idea, but man, you shouldn't have to do that. Hey, Richard, what's up, man? That's who that was. You shouldn't.
Get yard permission.
You shouldn't have to be able to just run your ads, man. That's why it's aggravating. But
yeah, for sure.
So be it.
Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start with the questions and answers. If you guys have a specific question for Caleb or myself or anything related to the topic, feel free to post it in the comment section. We'll try to get to them as you know, as much as we can, for sure. At the bottom of your screen, if you want to get connected with Caleb, you're going to find his information, telephone number, as well as email address. But with that said, let's go ahead and start off with what are some of your biggest strengths as a business owner and investor? What would you say would speak to that quality in regards to biggest strengths, Caleb?
Yeah, I definitely think the biggest strength for me and for us as a company is definitely systems. If I had to boil it down to one thing, systems. That's lead generation systems, that's lead management systems, things of that nature. Is really the biggest strong suit that I've got, and again that us as a company has, that you know we're able to generate leads and do them in a broad approach. So hey, again, getting shut down from one source isn't going to shut us down forever on anything. And then as well, just managing those leads and being able to follow up well and things like that. I think that by far systems, I guess lead gen and systems, I guess those, those go hand in hand, at least they should.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you pointed that out, that you kind of realize what your lane is and you stay in it, you man it, you dominate it, you crush it, and that's really the way to go. So Hill says, when using 2 separate accounts, can Facebook not track via the IP address, especially when using the same Wi-Fi? What are your thoughts? Do you have anything on that?
So Facebook's pretty smart, but the other thing is Facebook's crazy. Okay, so that's the other thing. They don't police in the same way. So the way that they've handled my situation, they've probably handled it different for somebody else. And so while they have their guidelines and the policies and stuff, they tend to be implemented and policed at different levels depending on the person doing it. Right. So the answer is maybe. I genuinely don't know. I feel like I have seen other people comment worse things than what I commented, and nothing happened to them, right? So why all of a sudden my one little comment in a thread of literally giving advice about stuff. And he said, something to the effect of, thank you. And I said, I'll always shoot you straight. It's all like
Wow.
that was it. I'm like, come on, Facebook. So that as the example, I mean, how many times have you seen somebody share something that we probably could all agree is a bit more perhaps violent or whatever that thing is? So back to the question of IP address. Yes, they know it's you for sure. But are they going to act on it? Shoot, who knows? I'm just going to keep saying shoot through all this and see what. No, I'm just kidding. But it's funny. So
if all of a sudden we see our viewership drop down to 0,
tanked, then we know why. It's because of me.
No, exactly why. Let's talk a little bit about your weaknesses, and this is the opportunity to really kind of open up. What would you say is one of your most challenging weaknesses, whether in business or personal life?
Man, I take on too much. That's it. I like to be too involved with stuff. And so, I think that's been the biggest weakness for me, of learning how to separate the family and the work, right? Trying to separate those two as far out as I can get them. We have a almost 3-year-old and a 8-month-old. So for my girls, like, I want to be able to go home and swing on the swings with them, do whatever that they want to, and not have that work coming into it of, oh, I had a good day, a bad day, whatever. So I've been investing in some life coaches, if you will, if you want to call it that, of like learning to separate that, because I realize that's a big weakness for me, that I'm trying to work on that, separating those two things out, man. I think that we all can probably raise our hand and say, yeah, I've struggled with that at a moment of bringing work into the home life, and what I'm trying to do, man. So
yeah, I can definitely attest to that, and I can attest for you. By the way, this is not a pitch, but Caleb is one of the gentlemen that we use for lead generation in our business. And how many times have I like randomly messaged you or tagged you at, let's just call them non-business hours?
Non-business hours. And how many times have I responded to those non-business?
Within a minute. Now,
right,
guys, I'm not advocating you do that. We all have to, draw lines. But when you say that one of your biggest weaknesses is that you're too involved, I can totally attest to that, and that's something that we all have to work at.
Especially as an entrepreneur, I think we're always attached to whatever that we're doing and working on, and all this. It's just going to happen, right? Like, it's just going to happen, right?
Absolutely. So, guys, if you guys are liking what's going on, please do me a favor, like and share on your personal walls. And again, we can't impact 100,000 lives in 1,000 days without your help. Let's go ahead and continue with the questions. If you guys have any specific questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section, and we'll try to get to them, as time kind of allows. But I'd love to hear about accomplishments on your end. Now, here accomplishments, it can be business, it can be a specific deal, a milestone, it could be a personal accomplishment, but what's something that you're particularly proud of? We want to hear that.
So I'll give a personal one and work one, right? So we just went on a vacation last week to the most
Disney.
Magical place on earth, Disney. Man, let me tell you, my oldest, she'll be 3 in January, and we like walk in and she's just like really unsure, and I'm like, is she gonna cry? Is she mad? What's going on? She's just taking all of it in, and after that, it was like, hi Minnie, hi Mickey, like all of it. It was so cute, man. So being able to do that and be present, that was a big win. I didn't open up my computer once. Not once. That's a big win. That's a big win. All right. That's a huge win. I know. I mean, at late at night, I was responding to some emails on my phone. Okay, so let's put that on the side. But like when it counted, I was there. Man, biggest accomplishment, honestly, was when we make people money. It happens a lot. I mean, I think that's an ongoing accomplishment that we're really proud of, that we get to help people. And just in general, I think the biggest accomplishment that I'm most proud of is that people trust me enough to pass off probably the most important part of their business to us, right? Is generating the lead that gets them to a place of negotiation that's going to get them to a place of making money, right? And I think that that's the biggest testimony, a testament, whatever you want to call it, to us, that like we're doing. And so I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of, man. I mean, and of course, aside from our ability to have grown to 130 something people on staff as we sit right now, that's obviously an accomplishment there. But I would say that, man. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We got a question regarding budget. Now, I kind of want to frame this work because this is such a broad, open question. What's a good budget to start with? Well, the answer depends. But most of our audience, a lot of our audience, are either starting out or maybe have only done a few deals, and it's probably mostly themselves.
Yeah.
And they may still have a 9 to 5. So with that in mind, what would you say would be a budgetable amount to spend on either, and give your opinion on whether it's PPC, whether it's Google ads, whether it's SEO, or whether it's Facebook ads, in regards to the biggest bang for the buck, considering their circumstances. Like, for example, if you say $10 ain't going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, even if you said, $1,000 might not do a whole lot. So we'll have to go through all of those things. So I'll give everyone a really quick overview of everything very fast, just so we all are on the same page here. So we'll start on paid ads. Facebook ads, you can spend ballpark between $500 to $1,000 on the low end. Here's the problem about Facebook. Not only the fact that, you might randomly not be able to run ads, is lots of things, is that we're really unable to pinpoint our target markets, target interests and audiences that we want to show our ads to, because a lot of the Facebook changes, right? We used to be able to pinpoint people based on financial distress and if they were moving, and I mean, all these crazy little factors that we're not able to do anymore. The other thing is on Facebook, most of you guys running Facebook ads would agree with this, I think, is that right now our data tells us, and by the way, I mean, we spend millions of dollars a month in Facebook ads, Google ads. We spend millions. And so this isn't just me making stuff up. Is that right now for investors, what we see is that on Facebook over the past 18 months or so, it takes about 3 to 4 months from lead time to contract. Okay. So there's if you're not following up, if you don't have systems in place, you're probably going to get out of Facebook ads and stop doing it before even the data suggests that you're going to even get a contract from it. So it's really important to just understand that. On Facebook, I really don't recommend running cold ads. Retargeting ads, different story. Fantastic to run those. So that's Facebook. I would just kind of put it on its side. You're going to get a lot of leads, very low quality, very similar to texting. Just go text a list and go do it, right? PPC, that's the place you guys need to get started at. That one's a little bit more expensive. Depending on the market you're in, you're going to end up, budget to start with about $1,500, $2,000 on that low end. If we're in a Dallas, a Houston, a Miami, a Phoenix, places like that, you're going to have to spend a little bit more. Okay. But about, $2,000 is what I tell people. It's a pretty good starting point, $2,000 a month on PPC to kind of get some things rolling in. And PPC and SEO, you guys have to understand, it's the highest quality leads on planet Earth, right? They're taking their phone out and saying, hey, I need some help. Got to sell my house, or I need a plumber, a roofer, whatever the industry is, what they're doing. We're seeing the average lead to contract time, less than a month right now for investors. Less systems, less follow-up, less all of the above. It's typically a yes, I'll take that offer. Let me think about it. I'm not sure, or just no, because the numbers just don't work. I mean, for anything, it just physically does not work. Simple as that. So, that's a big thing on PPC. SEO is great because you can just invest your time. So if you guys don't have a lot of money right now, like, well, dude, $2,000, there's no way I can afford that. Okay, SEO, you got time, probably, right? So you can go and invest your time and write content, build some links and do something. That's how I got started, guys. That's how I got started. I didn't really have a lot of money. I was young. I didn't have money. I was like, I don't know what I'm really doing. I want leads. How can I get it basically for free? and I built a website and did my SEO, and I didn't really pay for anything. I mean, yeah, there was a couple $100 of expenses here and there for, hosting and some other small things, right? But I just did it all myself. I wrote all of the content. I did all of the stuff. And the very first deal, I was super proud of this. I was like, yes, I made it. It was for like $600 wholesale. I'm like, I did it. I did it. I'm amazing. It worked. It worked. Right. And so I'm just.
But it was proof of concept.
But it was proof of, and it was all from SEO. And it was this cheap piece of crap house in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That was.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
Yeah, and it was literally like contract for like $5,000, sold it for like 5,600. Like one of those type of a deal.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. I was like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah, there was. Yeah, trust me, dude. I was pumped, man. I was pumped. I was like, let's go. The very next week, I get a phone call from my site. Go through all of it, and I'm like talking to him and get it under a contract, assign it the same afternoon for $15,000. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? I mean, it was even more. I was like, oh shoot, this really does, like, this is a thing. Like, this is a thing. And it works.
So help me understand anything there. To kind of crunch things for everyone. Let's say you have no time because you still have your 9 to 5. Let's say you probably don't have money. You're just barely in the realizing that this world kind of exists. Website and SEO would be the best use of your resources, correct?
No question. No question.
Second, maybe you've got more knowledge. Maybe you did your first $600 deal. Maybe you get a little bit more proof of concept, and or you have more funds put aside, and or you've already made the mental commitment that, hey, I don't care. I'm going to put more time and energy into this. Step number 2 maybe would be SEO. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. PPC.
Yes. Paid ads. PPC. That's step 2, right? You've done a transaction or two, and you're like, hey, I've got $4,000 to $10,000 sitting there.
Gotcha.
How do I reinvest this to keep it going? Continue your SEO stuff. Like don't keep that pumping. Maybe you hire a cheap content writer to help you write some content that's a couple $100 a month or whatever that may be.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But then moving into the paid ads realm, that's how you can kind of get this thing kick-started.
And then after you've developed a few deals, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, maybe after you've done 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe after you've transacted, and made $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in wholesale fees, then your next step is to augment your PPC with retargeted Facebook ads.
Right. Yep. And that's the full scope approach there, right? Of the online campaigns that work the best are the guys doing organic SEO, guys doing PPC, and the guys that are retargeting all of those people, all the visitors coming to their website on social media. So now they're like, I mean, how many times have you guys been to a website to look at what restaurant, buy a product, whatever, open your phone on social media, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, they're following me, right? But it keeps them at the top of your mind, right? That's exactly what you want.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Guys, a lot of y'all think that I'm here to provide value to y'all, and y'all might not know this. I'm here to provide value to me, like the stuff I'm learning. Like, are you kidding me? So, guys, now jokes aside, if you guys find value in what you're seeing here, please do me a favor. Help us grow the community. Take a moment right now, like and share this to your personal walls, this feed. And that's going to be my way of knowing that I provided value to you guys, and that it's definitely worth going. Got a question from Bhaskar. Do landing pages help with lead generation? If so, do you create them or have recommendations for any third party?
So let's go back to another question asked up there a little bit about the KPIs first. Then we'll come back to that one because that's a really good one.
Oh,
just
sure.
Tune with what we just talked about spend. Let's talk about average cost per leads and some things like that.
KPIs, what do they look like? Can you give us an idea what average cost per lead?
Yeah, so let's talk about this one first, just so we're all on the same page there, right? some of the KPIs or the key performance indicators that we look for are different for every campaign, for every client, right? Some of our clients, they look at, cost per lead more than anything. Some look at cost per acquisition, right? So there's a lot of different metrics and methods for you guys to look at through these things. It's just about what makes sense for you. But cost per lead, right? PPC right now, we're seeing about $200 to $400 is our average cost per lead right now on Facebook. And that $200 to $400 is a one metro area, right? So there's some guys out there running national campaigns or 10 states or whatever they're running, and they're getting, $50, $60 leads. Well, it's because they're getting this really broad radius and getting leads in the middle of nowhere sometimes, right? So that also happens. But average cost per lead on PPC is that $200 to $400. Facebook ads, you're going to really vary on that one. We've seen as low as $30 to $100 is about where you're going to sit. But again, you got to sift through a whole lot more garbage. And in that lead count, you're going to get people, oops, sorry, didn't mean to. Hey, I'm trying to rent a house. Do you have anything for rent? No, I'm trying to buy. Okay, well, do you know anyone renting? No, I'm looking to buy. And it's just this conversation thread that, people
don't tell them you're going to shoot them.
Film out. Right. You don't know. I might shoot. No, but Facebook's watching, so we got to be super careful. But on that, people accidentally fill stuff out, and it does happen. It does. It's ridiculous, but it does. And so you've got to take that. SEO, it depends. If you're just doing it yourself, technically it's free, right? But SEO is the best long-term ROI generator, lowest cost per lead, highest return on investment, hands down. So hopefully that helps just to give us some numbers there. Landing pages. Let's move on to that one. This is a really good question I get asked a lot about. Oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? So for everyone, just so we're all clear on the same page here, we've got a website and landing pages. Okay. A website, you get your typical server. It's going to have a home page, an about us page, how it works, a contact us, other things like that. Full blown website, right? You can go look at mine, calebluketic.com. That's a website, right? It's got an about me page, how to schedule with me, some about our services. It's got a whole bunch of different things. Landing pages, the intention of a landing page is to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to generate a lead. Simple. Generating a lead. And so typically that landing page is there's no menu. There's nowhere else to click outside of that landing page, just that landing page, and that's it. And so that landing page, when we run paid ads, PPC specifically here now, let's talk about PPC specifically. You can use landing pages for Facebook and all that stuff. Lead volume, meh. PPC is what we want, right? On that, we test it. My answer is, do landing pages help with lead generation? Yes, they do, but you need to test it. That's how we split test everything. Sometimes some clients right now, their website, their investor carrot website that we've optimized and edited performs better than some of our landing pages. Flip that around, right? Their carrot site's garbage and it doesn't work. And our landing page is up here. It just depends. We've got to test those. And so where do we create them at? Great question. We use a platform. So a couple things here. We have built them previously on things like ClickFunnels, things like High Level. And right now what we're doing is we're actually rebuilding all of our landing pages right now for all of our clients on WordPress. Biggest reason is we're trying to get our page load speed down. Not that it's not good now, but we're trying to improve that to under a second. So it loads real quick, because the small tests that we've done is the faster that landing page is, generally speaking, the cheaper we can get leads. And so I'm not talking like half off. We're talking 1% to 5% off. Okay. But for people that, we manage some accounts that are spending, 10, 20,000 a month, 1% to 5% is going to add up, right? It makes that spread more out. So, hopefully that
I remember a marketer one time, and I don't know if you'll agree with this. I think you might. Kind of made the comparison that a landing page, much like the name says, it's like a runway. It's one lane. that one purpose, that is it. But runways are part of airports, and you can think of your airport as your entire website. So if that
Yeah. I'm
analogy.
stealing that, by the way. I'm stealing that. That's mine now. No,
Oh, sure.
I'm using that. That's fantastic. I love that. I love that.
Steal away. Hashtag don't shoot away.
Oh man, this is amazing. This is amazing.
Oh man, for sure. Man, we got another good question. Do you recommend utilizing new social media outlets like TikTok, Instagram stories, video shorts on Facebook, YouTube ads? Are these worth the time, money spent? What is your thoughts and or experience, if you have any on that?
It's a really good question that I get asked a whole bunch. People are like, okay, great. PPC. What about TikTok or Instagram or whatever? It honestly depends on your target market, your avatar, right? What is your avatar? Who is your avatar? Is it somebody that is 25 to 35? Is it somebody that is 50 to 70 and older? Typically in the real estate investment space, it's 45, 50 plus, right? It's typically the typical age of a person that we deal with, that we purchase houses from, right? This has never happened to me. Maybe it has to somebody here watching, but I mean, when's the last time an 18-year-old sold you their house, right? Or a 22-year-old sold you their house? In the very rare exception that it was an inherited house, that could happen. Don't get me wrong. They could see you on a TikTok doing a dance about how you buy inherited houses. Woohoo. But this is not going to happen, right? It's not smart. Now, if you are selling t-shirts, just as an example, selling t-shirts and your target market is 15 to 25, TikTok, you should have been there a year ago. Where are you at? Like, you need to go there, right? So if you're trying to grow your brand, like if you're trying to get, let's just say, education clients in, if you're an investor trying to teach people, or something along that line that people are using TikTok and stuff, cool, use it. Try to buy houses? No,
probably not. And now that you kind of mentioned that, Ray Pantag, big fan of the show, big fan of him himself. He's a creative genius. He's one of our sharks for sure. Can this work with small apartment complex owners or mobile home parks, or just houses?
Great question. I get asked that a lot as well. And so typically what we find with apartment complexes or even a mobile home park is that they themselves are an investor, right? So typically when people go to Google and search something, hey, where can I sell my house fast at? It means that they don't have a network, right? Most guys that have an apartment complex, that have a mobile home park, typically are going to have a network. That network could be consistent of a real estate attorney, an agent, just those two right there. They could easily find somebody to help them sell those two things. So the search volume for large multifamily complexes, even small ones, it just doesn't really exist all that much. Basically, mainly because, again, that's going to be, you're talking to an investor. Got to go join groups, and you got to mail them, you got to text them, you got to get that communication, because when presented with perhaps the right offer, an investor would sell. Facebook, social media is the only potential online source I would say that you can maybe get something going there, because it's more of a, hey, I exist, look at me, right? That's what your Facebook avatar. It's a, hey, I exist, check this out. PPC is your position. You're sitting back, chilling. Come to me. I'm ready for you. Let me help. Right? You're sitting back waiting. So, hey Ray, hopefully that helped some. That's just what we.
Yeah, I can't imagine a whole lot of TikTokers selling small apartment complexes. And
right,
of course, for clarity, when he was saying small apartment complexes versus large, he was talking about mom and pop.
Mom and a pop operator, even still, that mom and pop has to be connected in some form, fashion, or shape to go and buy that thing, right? Again, they're going to know an agent. They're going to know, hey, if I'm doing this to buy this as an investment, somebody else is going to want it. There's really not a lot of search volume data on this stuff. It's one of those things that, if you put $500 a month at it and just to have it there, if that return is going to be there for you, makes sense, right? But typically, not going to happen, right? yeah, it would be cool to see some 65-year-olds doing some of the dances and stuff. Like, it's just like,
I've seen a
you
couple.
gotta know your avatar, and you've got to know where your avatar is hanging out.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that word avatar. I made a post today talking about knowing your buy box. And it's
Yep.
not just for buying and selling, but if you were to describe from top to bottom, who is your buyer, who is your seller, where do they live, what is their ages, you need to know, that off the bat for sure, man. So for sure. Let me ask you something. What do you enjoy most about being a business owner and an investor? Let's
I can
hear from
I
Kate.
can do what I just did last week. We went to Disney on a Monday and a Tuesday. Like, it's like, all right, yeah, let's do it, right? Um, I think that's the biggest thing I enjoy the most, is that I control my own destiny, really. And I think that's why we all are kind of in this, and we all want to be able to control our own future for us and for our children and children's children and so on, right? That we want to be able to provide that. And so, my wife and I are beginning to look at 15 to 20 acres of land, and trying to build and look at houses on land. Like, that's our next step for us. Like that's what we want. I enjoy that. And that's what I enjoy about being a business owner and an entrepreneur in general, is that I know my numbers, right? Okay, so if I
Where are you
want
looking to find
something,
land?
say it again.
Where are you wanting to find land for yourself?
So we are based just outside of Nashville.
Mhm.
We really like this little kind of triangle that we're in. Unfortunately, it has appreciated a lot. And our house we bought 2 years ago, and we already have about 100K of equity. It sounds great, woohoo, whatever. But it just means that everything's going up, man. It's just a lot more expensive. Um, so that's the biggest thing that I love, is again that we get to kind of control our destiny, right? I think we would all agree that that's
Yeah,
the biggest win.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I remember when we were preparing for this interview, I recall you told me about a deal that really stood out in your mind. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing it with the group, but
Yeah, sure,
I'd love to if you're
sure.
okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead and kind of tell us about that.
yeah, man. So aside from my first $600 deal, right? But like, for real, like, we all have like my first check, right? My first wholesale deal, right? You all have like know it. I need to go find that HUD, because it wasn't quite $600. I'm rounding up. It was like 500 and some really weird change. Um, but the most memorable deal I think I've ever done also was an SEO lead. You see that trend here. But I actually bought this backstory quickly. These guys were the most hillbilly rednecks you've ever seen in your life, because so much so that they went to the power line outside and what they call it, jerry rigged it, I think, and it literally took power from the pole straight to the house to bypass the meter, so they didn't have to pay. Let's just say there was a lot of liens and a lot of time I spent at the water department and the horrible. Anyway, but that deal, they called me on a Tuesday. The very next Wednesday, 8 days later, we closed on it. Thanks to my hard money guy, who was the bomb. I almost flipped it. I almost did. Until somebody, told me, well, why don't you keep it as a rental? Okay, why not? Right? It was the very first one, and bought it for like 55, put like 80 grand into it. I mean, it was nightmare. Um, Cash flowed for about $600 for 3 years, had 1 month where it was unoccupied. And I just sold it back in March and made about 130 grand on it. Uh,
That's a win.
yeah, that's a win, man. Better than that $600 check. And so, man, that right there, and again, that was from SEO. I mean, just in the past like 4 or 5 months from my website, we've had almost 10 contracts get locked up on houses.
Nice.
Now we're investing into it. We're doing some stuff but up until that point, about July, I was just chilling, not doing anything, just hanging out. Literally
But
got
you know what, Caleb, I'd be willing to bet that as much as you made on this past deal, the most impactful deal was that first $600 check.
Dude, there's no doubt.
Of concept.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind that, I mean, I literally, there's a couple of these things too, right? That one, and I remember being on our honeymoon right after we got married we're about to get on to the cruise ship, and I just check my email. I get an email saying, hey, we just sent the wire. And I was like, get on a boat, just made 25 grand. And I was like, oh, like, so that was one, that first 600 one, that one. And this one I just did, just sold back in March. I think that those are the three most impactful ones that have been on me. But man, there's no doubt that first $600 one, it's funny, right?
Proof of concept.
We'll sit here like, oh, dude, $600,
Personally, my first deal took me 9 months to materialize.
There you go.
And I mean, that's just a ridiculous amount of time. But when it finally materialized, it's like, proof of concept. This can be done. I can do it. I just need to know how to do more of those.
And I was in college, and instead of doing homework and doing other stuff, what was I doing? Or out doing anything, dude? I was on YouTube. I was like, how do I do SEO better? I was buying stuff. I didn't have money for it. I didn't have any money for it. It was like credit cards. How do I buy a program to do this stuff? How do I deal? I mean, I remember real quickly, I promise, last one. Another deal I did was sitting in a class my senior year of college, and the professor's right in the middle of something. And I just get up and walk out, and he's like, hey, stop right there. And I was like, I got to answer this. And he was like, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. And I just walked out. And after the fact, he was obviously, had some questions for me, and I showed him. I said, no, you see, I just made $10,000 or something. And jaw kind of dropped. He was like, you did what? So, yeah, I just went out and made $10,000. That's why I walked out of your room and not say, man, there's just some cool moments like that like you sit back and you're like, oh, wow, like that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it happened. It happened. Very cool. Now, you might not know this, Caleb, but most in our audience, they are relatively starting out. Either they haven't done their first deal, or maybe they are within their first 3, 4, 5 deals. So they're barely starting out. So if it's possible, what I'd like for you to do now is to share words of wisdom as well as practical advice for those individuals. When you share words of wisdom, I really want you to think about the 36,000 elevation gain view of things, and what can help them. And when we talk about practical advice, it's more of tips that can help their daily business.
Yeah. So this is why I love what you guys have created here, because this is a place of, we're not trying to sell somebody something. We're not trying to just that. I mean, we're not trying to sell somebody something, which in the online realm, if you guys have ever done anything with anybody in the online space, a lot of times they try and sell you on stuff, right? Oh, well, if you act right now, I'll waive my setup fees, or whatever that thing is, right? And I think the biggest thing when you guys are looking at this, just some tips and some wisdom I can share is, number one is, if you guys are going to get into online marketing, do not sell yourself short and underspend. You will waste your money. It would be more fun is if you got how much money you were going to spend in $1 bills and lit each one of them on fire. You'd have more fun. Okay. It's not going to pan out if you say, hey, I'm going to go throw $500 at some PPC. You could be a unicorn and you could get lucky. Again, go buy a lottery ticket, right? That's the same thing you're trying for. You need to make sure that you're set up in a position to be successful there. And that's why I'm here in School of Sharks, to make sure that everyone has some expectations and make sure that, no one's wasting their money. So I think that's the biggest tip, words of wisdom I can share right there. Okay, I was happy to share some more, but the biggest one is do not underspend online, because what's going to happen is you're going to waste it. You're going to say it doesn't work, and you're going to be real turned off by it, and you're not gonna like it.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because, and guys, this really is the kind of conversations Caleb and I will have. I'll literally, send him an email or give him a call or something and say, hey, bro, we need these results. How much do I need to spend to get these results? Like, that's usually our conversation.
Right.
And he's like, okay, well, let me, analyze your account. Let's see what's working. Let's see what's not working. I'll give you a game plan, this afternoon or tomorrow. But in marketing is one of those weird form of investments that the return isn't always palpable or understandable at the beginning.
Yeah.
But once you have a few months or a couple of years of metrics, then you can really see the kind of return that you're getting for sure.
Yeah.
Caleb, I've been super excited, guys. If you guys find value in School of Sharks having qualified, super plugged in individuals like Caleb, we don't ask for anything on your part except to like and share on your personal walls and real estate related groups. Don't use the word shoot, because I don't want anybody banned. I want nothing but love.
Don't use the word shoot, because you're gonna end up like me sitting here.
Yeah, but if you guys see value in what in what we have here, that's really the way you can show back the love. Mark, a little while ago, he wanted to ask what's the best way to connect with Caleb. His information is scrolling down at the bottom. Please, just go ahead and write it down. You can go to calebluketic.com, see Luketic at hypedigital.com, and 615-208-4999. Any other way that someone who's listening can connect with you, Caleb?
Facebook. I mean, you guys find me on Facebook or Instagram. It's really easy because I'm the only Caleb Luketic in the world.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm the only one of me in the world. Last name is Croatian, so very, very small pool of individuals that I'm competing with to have similar names. And so, yeah, I'm the only one of me in existence.
Wow.
So it's real easy to look me up and find me, and you don't have to worry about finding somebody else.
Really makes you think about whether or not you will ever become a criminal, huh?
Exactly, because people can find me real easy. That's why I'm not going to post shoot anymore. I'm not going to post on Facebook. So I'm a Facebook criminal.
I wonder
if
what Mark didn't like is that Croatians were talking about shooting. You never know.
I don't know, but something I didn't like. So somebody got upset about me. I don't know. I actually, and I'll share this quickly. So there was 2 reasons why I got shut down. Can't make this up. All right, Dan, I really wish I could. I have to share this because it's funny. So that one, right? So I shoot you straight. As you guys know, that's how I got into marketing as an investor, right? So I did a deal a couple years ago. Got a house with owner financing, 0% interest, 15 years with the seller, thanks to my man sitting right here with me too. And used some of the way that he just smooth jazzed to the seller's ears. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, right? He was a small-time investor. And, well, long story short, I wrapped the house and owner financed it on to the back end. Great. Fast forward to August, okay? Laying in bed, I wake up, probably shouldn't do this, but the first thing I do is I check my phone, right? See a message from him. We communicate through Messenger to make sure, checks get sent and such things. Well, there's an image I received from him that, typically gets sent to a woman unsolicited. And he found that he rolls a certain way that I don't. And that's an image in my brain that I cannot get out of a seller sending me a picture. And you guys are smart enough to pick up what I'm putting down. And man, I sold that note because I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I was like, I don't care how much money I'm going to make from this. This is too awkward now. I'm done. And after you see an image, an unsolicited image of genitalia from a seller of yours, just kind of, yeah. So I received that image and then said shoot and got banned because I incited violence and was engaged in sexual activity.
Wow.
Kid you not? That's exactly why they said. So
Be careful.
fair warning, if your sellers that you've done sub 2 deals with or owner finance deals all of a sudden send you some images, you might be, yeah. So hopefully somebody found that funny. I didn't. I got scarred and I can't run Facebook ads. So,
Yeah. You gotta be careful, for sure. Listen, Caleb, I don't want to take any more of your time. We've been super, super grateful. You've been super generous, with us and guys. Once again, if you guys find value in the content, please like and share. The goal for School of Sharks and this community is to impact 100,000 lives in 1,000 days, and we certainly can't do this without you. I want to leave you guys with a saying. This one came from Winston Churchill: "Success is not final. Failure is not final. It is the courage to continue that counts." So with that in mind, I hope you guys have a wonderful. Oh, before I forget, I am so sorry. I totally forgot. We're coordinating with Caleb to continue presenting phenomenal information throughout the week. So before I forget, I want to let you guys know that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week, Caleb is going to go out of his way to go ahead and prepare some special posts. There's going to be challenges involved for the community. There is no charge to participate. Just kind of engage yourselves, be plugged into the group, be plugged into the community. On Friday, he's going to be touching about mindset that can help you reignite your family, your outlook, and your happiness. Saturday is going to be storytelling about a challenge or lesson that he's overcome. Sunday, I love Sundays because it's how to jumpstart the week. Businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, we don't start on Monday. We start on Sunday afternoon, jumpstarting the week. We're going to share what he does with the community. Monday, he's going to focus on negotiation skills, and Tuesday, tips. He's going to be sharing tips for the community. So with that said, please, guys, I want to invite you guys to stay connected, engage in the community, and remember, alone you can go fast. Together, we can go far, but united, we will go farther, faster. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Caleb. And
absolutely, man.
If you want to say goodbye to the group as well.
It's been fun. Thank you guys for having me on. Super excited to share just what you just said. So it'll be awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm super excited. Hope you guys have a great evening. Enjoy. Take care.